Trent, good morning. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great, Dan. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. I don't know how impressed I should be with the Rams. I know that we do overreact, but I'm curious, as a former quarterback who played at a high level, and you look at Jared Goff, what is the difference now with Goff as opposed to 2 years ago or even last year?
Well, I think it's anytime you have that perfect blend of talented quarterback, great play caller, skilled people around you, a lot of pieces around you, you're going to see this progression of a quarterback and the confidence come out. I think that's the biggest thing. He has total command. He has total confidence in what he's doing. He's a very, very gifted player. It really bothers me when I hear people say he's just a system guy. Like they minimize his talent. He's a pure passer. Has been since he was 17 years old, and I got to coach him at Elite 11. He has tremendous feel for the passing game. He has plenty of arm talent. He can threaten all areas of the field. He can throw guys open. He can layer it versus zones. I mean, there's really nothing he can't do with the football. I think at Cal, he didn't have the total command of the position because of protection schemes. And now with McVay and the protection plans they have in place and all the tools they give him at the line of scrimmage, he can play the game on his terms. He can get to the plays that he wants to get to. He can get himself protected. They have a great running game, obviously, and I think what you're seeing is the fullness of a guy when you put the right pieces around him. I've been really impressed, like everybody else has this year, but I was impressed last year for a second-year guy that had a rough rookie year to be able to grow in the position and win a bunch of games and be highly productive. That's what you're looking for in your quarterback.
What would be your big concern with the Rams?
Defense, probably. I mean, they're loaded personnel-wise. But they play this has always been Wade's deal, that he plays a style of defense that when a team can attack the inside of the football field, when they can get, skilled players matched up on linebackers, when they can get big plays against them, that defensive scheme has a tendency to get gashed. But they're going to be playing from the lead. So with the lead so much, and like you just mentioned before I came on, their division is so poor. I don't have a whole lot of concerns for them in the regular season. It'll come down to playoff football, and if they're built for playoff football, how healthy they are at the end of the year, and whether they can. I think one thing you see with the Rams is, yes, they will run the ball. And Gurley gets a lot of touches, but they definitely want to throw it down the field. Like what they want to do more than anything else is create chunk plays in the passing game. I think when you do get into playoff football, and if you have to go on the road and play somewhere in bad weather, you got to be stubborn with your running back. And are they willing to be stubborn with getting Gurley the ball in situations when they normally want to throw it?
How concerned would you be if you're a Vikings fan today?
I'd be concerned, but I'm definitely not an early season panic guy anymore. The one thing I learned the last 4 or 5 years is that September is still the preseason. You can lose it in September, but you can't win it. I don't think they've lost it yet. Yeah, they're behind the 8 ball a little bit with last night's loss, but teams are still learning in September now. With the limited offseason practice, with as little as starters playing the preseason, we see this every year, and I've made the mistake of knee-jerk reacting in September. You really can't. Teams are just starting to figure out who they are. I think October is more telling than September, but I would not panic as a Vikings fan. They're well coached. They got lots of good players. They've been there, done that. I think they'll correct the things that have gotten them in trouble at this point. I think they'll be a contender by the end.
Now, I know that you've learned your lesson, you said, over the last couple of years, which leads me to the Patriots. The Patriots, after a 1-2 start, if the Patriots lose to the Dolphins, ... finish that sentence.
I'd be very concerned, but I wouldn't write them off. They don't look the same, but they are getting Edelman back. They will grow offensively. I can see them trying to run the ball a little bit more. What bothered me the other night was them not being able to convert on 3rd and short. They were one of the better 3rd and short teams in the league in the past. I think they'll fix those things with Coach Scarnecchia, their offensive line coach. Again, they're the team you can never write off because they're all about development. They're all about how they are in week 9 more than what they are in week 2, 3, 4. So their history alone would make me say I would still give them a very long leash, even if they're to lose to the Dolphins.
Talking to Trent Dilfer, former NFL quarterback, also contributes to the NFL Network's Thursday night pregame show with the Soul and Science segments. If I said you can have a quarterback for the next 5 years, we have a draft coming up next hour, and you could pick any quarterback and you get him at his current age, but you get him for the next 5 years. You have the number one overall pick, and you would take
so
who?
hard. Oh, it's one of the hardest questions right now. I was just doing this with Ryan Wasilla the other day. I'd probably go with Wentz, and that's hard. I mean, there's 7-8 good options, but I'd probably go with Wentz.
Would you take Aaron Rodgers at age 34 if you had him for the next 5 years?
Probably not. And that was the one that probably not. Just because the age. I mean, he's obviously one of the greatest of all time. He does things that, literally make your jaw drop every time you watch him play. But again, this is one of the hardest questions in all football right now. And there's really no wrong answer between 7, 8, 9 guys. But I would probably go with Carson Wentz.
Explain what you're doing with the NFL Players Association, the exclusive trading card partner there. What's the contest that you're involved in?
Yeah, Panini America. I've been doing this for 4 years now. It's really cool. Every year they do a Super Bowl Kid Reporter Initiative. So kids go out and buy their trading cards all over the country. Some of the cards have a code on the back. You enter that code. If you win, you get to go to the Super Bowl media night with me. I coach them up on how to ask questions. They go around to the booth. They get front of the line and get to ask these players really cool questions. It's been a thrill for me to watch the joy on these kids' faces as they've been able to do it. But the surprising thing that's come out of it is, you've been to media night a million times. These players are kind of done with it. You know what I mean? There's 200 people at their booth. There's all these weird questions. But when they see the kid, they light up. They love engaging with the kid. The kid asks some great questions. The player loves it. The kid loves it. It's been one of the coolest things I've been able to do in my post-career with Panini America. And I just love the initiative, and I love doing it every year.
You can go to PaniniKidReporter.com for more details. I'll leave you with this, Trent, because I know you're involved in these 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 and all these camps there, and these kids coming out of high school going into college, they're ready to play right away, and these 5-star recruits. We just saw this with Clemson, where you got Trevor Lawrence, who's coming in, and Kelly Bryant, who's been, a decorated starter at Clemson as a senior. He's transferring now. I guess the ability for these kids to comprehend what they need to learn in college at that early of an age, and now we're looking at juniors and seniors where you might be expendable at that position. Do you see this as a new wave where the 5-stars are coming in, and for 2 years or 3 years maybe, and then after that you got another 5-star coming in, and he might be expendable?
Yes. I do think it's going to be a trend. Quarterbacks are just getting better every year. Think of it this way. Think of it globally, that this is the really kids now. It's been the first time in the history of football where these kids, when they were 8, 9, 10 years old, could find as much quarterback information as you could possibly ever want out there, between private quarterback coaches, watching Amazon Prime of Tom Brady or Jared Goff in the Rams, or everything we do with Elite 11. When you're 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, you have access to every bit of quarterback information you could ever possibly want. Then you're throwing a football. You're playing in 7-on-7. You're playing in the fall. You're being trained privately. Your learning curve has been accelerated so much. Well, now you add all the talent. Now you're adding also the biggest, strong, the toughest kid is now playing most athletic kids playing quarterback. It's kind of the perfect storm where every year we go around the country and we evaluate about 750 to 1,000 quarterbacks. And we see, now we call it the Elite 11 and we do 24 guys, it goes to 12, but we see 50 guys every year, 50 to 75 guys that are so much better than I ever was, or that Tony Romo ever was, because we have all these quarterbacks come out and join us on the tour and they go, are you kidding me? These kids are so much better than I was. And these are pro guys that played 12, 15 years in the NFL. So you're just seeing waves of quarterbacks in high school. I live in Texas now, and I go to high school football games on Friday night. And every week I go to a game and I see a quarterback that was better than me. I mean, it's crazy how many good quarterbacks there are. So you're going to see every year these colleges get somebody that has a chance to be really, really good.
But who is playing now that you saw in high school where you went, he's got star written all over him, or I'm surprised that he's got star written all over him?
Oh, gosh, I can go down. I mean, 85% of the Power 5 quarterbacks are Elite 11 guys. 22 in the NFL are Elite 11 guys. I mean, I remember seeing Sam Darnold play high school basketball. That's how we found him. High school basketball tape because he broke his ankle his junior year. We had him out at a camp, and he might have thrown 30 balls. And I looked over at my personal assistant. I looked at Jordan Palmer. I said, that kid's going to play in the NFL. I mean, we see it every Trevor Lawrence, the first time we saw him when he was a freshman in high school, we're like, that kid's going to play in the NFL. Justin Fields, the first time we saw him, that kid's going to play in the NFL. Josh Rosen. Oh, gosh, Josh Rosen, when we saw him as a 10th grader, that kid's going to play in the NFL. I mean, we see these kids at 10th, 11th grade, and sometimes you just know. I mean, there's just no doubt. One, they're going to go to a great high school, get coached well, play with good people. They're going to be highly recruited. They're going to go to a good place in college. They're going to have a long leash, meaning they're going to be given a chance to fail, learn from their failure, come back and succeed. I would say our hit rate's really, really high just because we get to see them relative to all the other quarterbacks in the country.
But is there going to be room for all these quarterbacks in the NFL?
That's a great. This is going to be the most interesting draft. You can start this conversation right now because you have Herbert, Locke, Stidham, Greer, McSorley. Who am I forgetting? Forgetting somebody. All these kids are big-time NFL quarterback talents, but there's no place for them to go in this year's draft. So does Stidham stay in school? Does Herbert stay in school? Because if it's Locke and McSorley and Greer coming out only, is there room for more than three? Finley at North Carolina State. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are really, really talented, and there just may not be enough seats for them to play in the NFL. Now, the good thing is some of them may get drafted later than they should. You know, 2 years ago, you might have been a top 6 pick. Now you're going mid to late first round. You get an opportunity to sit for a couple of years. I still think that's the best formula if you're able to sit for a little while and watch and learn like Patrick Mahomes. So there's going to be situations like that, too. I'll say this. If you're Dak Prescott in Dallas, you better start playing better. You better start playing better. There's a lot of guys that better start playing better because there's guys coming up that can take their jobs in a heartbeat, just like you're seeing in college football.
Great to visit with you, Trent. Always appreciate your insights. And for more information on what Trent was talking about, where you can win a trip to Super Bowl Media Day, PaniniKidReporter.com. Thank you, Trent.
Always fun to be with you, Dan. Thanks, buddy.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.